Do you want me to start the presentation, then we'll work into the poll, or
Yes, Theo, hold on. Let me make
okay.
you also make you a host. So you are.
Also, it's not 2 o'clock yet.
Okay, yeah, it's 1:59, I guess. I put some PowerPoints together. They aren't quite Reagan standard, but hopefully she'll give us a little
It's 2 o'clock
tutorial
in
on that
North
one.
Dakota.
Theo, if you want to share your screen, you
Okay.
ought to be able to do it.
All right, so let's see how this works. Now I'm sharing my screen, but I can't see any of you now. Is that?
Yeah, there should be a bar at the top where you can see some of us, and you can.
Oh no, you're off. You're off on the side somewhere. That's weird.
Okay, you can shift us around if you want.
You're going vertically. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's Oh, now I got you in a box.
Is it small? Yeah.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing here.
Yeah. I like, yeah, there is the box, the vertical. I like to have the vertical for some people and the vertical for whoever is speaking, and the vertical for the chat on the sides.
All right, so well, you want to wait another minute or want to get going?
We're recording. We are fine. Maybe
Okay.
maybe we can talk a little bit just before at the beginning about Slack.
Oh, actually, I was gonna I was gonna put that at the end, but you want to do that at the beginning?
Then we follow it. Then
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm your host for today. I don't have all the answers, but it's good to see you, and hopefully we can come to some great answers together. Let's see if I can get the next slide. Oh, oh, there we go. And so I just wanted to share this. I know it was originally titled, positive experiences. And I kind of wanted to share this picture because I have a student I've had for 2 semesters. He's a physics major. And he would always draw in class, preferably during breaks, and I see him drawing, and he's a fantastic artist. And he was in this rut on Iron Man for a couple months. So I said, why don't you apply the story I always tell my students is when I was in college, grad school, I had a friend who was a paleontologist, and he would draw the bones in such exquisite detail. And I thought it was kind of a waste of time unless it was a hobby. But he said, you really don't understand the animal and what they went through unless you look at all the details in the bones. And I kind of tell them this story to encourage them to draw pictures, which they're always resistant to on quizzes and exams. So I told him that you should draw some physics stuff. Use your imagination, draw some physics stuff instead of Iron Man for a little while. And he sent this to me at the end of the semester. And you may recognize it if you saw Interstellar, but for him, he did a detailed study on what a black hole. This is all hand drawn on his iPad, but it was just phenomenal. It was really nice of him to share it. And I guess I feel the one thing I want to keep when I'm teaching online, which is what we're going to be doing on the fall, is this connection with students. Because if you make that connection with students, you can really bring them into places where they wouldn't go before. So this is sort of my example of that. All right, let's see if I can go up one more. Woo! All right, so Glenda was nice enough to host for me. I don't have a free account. I don't have an account with Zoom, or a free account with Zoom for long periods. So she put the poll questions. I sent her the poll questions and she organized them for me, which I appreciate tremendously, because that took some time to type in. Then I thought we would have a discussion based on the poll questions and anything else that comes up. And then Tony do a Slack intro. And thanks to Glenn, I have a link to that now, and I've been trying it out. And the takeaway for today, I took what Michael said a few weeks ago in his presentation and shortened it. Do what works best for you. So not everything here is going to work perfectly for everybody. We all have different teaching styles, and we interact with students differently. But I think we can all learn different tricks we can use that could help us and help our students. And also, and this is a preview, I'm still not sure from our earlier discussion if this is going to be June 5th or not, but Reagan was going to have us students' views of online learning in physics classes, and getting some of our students to participate in the Zoom meeting and tell us what they thought worked great for them, which I think would be very useful. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. I'm going to let Glenda, if you don't mind throwing the polls at us, I'd appreciate that. Oh, there we go. I can see it. I can't hear you, Glenda, but I can see the poll. Thank you.
Great. One by one, they're coming. So let's give some people some time to try this on. Um, 7 out of 11, 8, 9. And I think it's me and you then. Let's go. I'm already showing the results here.
I'm admitting people in, by the way.
Awesome, because I made you full host for a while and I couldn't do anything.
Should I let the continuing committee in?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I don't know who that is, so.
yes, I know. Sometimes it's, yep. Great. Yes, very good. All right, so hopefully you can see the result here. How much of your class time was asynchronous? It was asynchronous for most people already this semester. Wow,
that's a lot, yeah.
That's a bit surprising in my field here, because we were trying to mimic as much as possible the initial conditions of the semester and make it still stick to as asynchronous as normal circumstances as we could make it. So yeah, and if well, I can release the next poll if you want, or
I'm ready if you are.
all right. I'll stop sharing this one and let's go to the next one. Does your school give you flexibility on the synchronous versus asynchronous option?
Oh, I can't seem to click on anything.
Yes, because you and I are co-hosts.
Oh, okay.
And so,
That's fine.
So yeah, we had our department meeting just yesterday about that, and because they don't know which way to go, they are very much just willing to listen to us and what is our preference. That's in my department.
Wow.
And most of us were asking for synchronous, but because asynchronous, most of us were saying that we don't have the full skills to do that yet, because we felt like it requires more skills. That's what we thought in general. But we don't know which way the school is really, what's the final word of the school. So that's our preference. I will end the poll and share the results. Ta-da! Yeah, everybody can see it here. You also can see. So by far, 65% of the people still, some of them haven't yet had maybe the discussion, or this is not flexible at all. Would you like me to continue to the next one? You tell me.
Sounds good. Anyone else? Everyone agree? All right, let's check the next one and see.
There's a lot of conversation in the chat.
Ah, I'm missing that.
Okay. Dean is saying we were encouraged to use asynchronous because the students' schedule were changing rapidly and some moved to other time zones. Yes, I had students in Korea, and but somehow they were catching up. Yeah, poor kids. Theo, let me know if you would like.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
The next one. So here we go. This is the third polling question. There are 6 in total. in future classes, how much time would you spend asynchronously? Like, what is your plan? If you already have a plan, if you could choose.
These polling questions usually show up in our videos. I know last time mine didn't show up. Should have been more careful.
They didn't show up. Okay.
For me, but maybe they're gonna show up, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Reagan, do you mean 100% synchronous or 100% asynchronous?
Asynchronous.
Oh, you wanted 100% asynchronous. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's most people's preference. So I don't have a lot of experience with, I'm getting about the idea of asynchronous. That's my side, and I'm reading about all these best practices of asynchronous and how I need to find ways. I mean, giving homework and giving quizzes, I know how to do that. But the fact that I don't have a one-to-one with them guaranteed anymore. There are all these ways to get in touch with the student and all, it just feels like, okay, this is a bit of prejudice, but it feels like a lot of babysitting vacuum, and I don't know how to do that. And well, I would figure it out, but it feels more complicated. It feels a lot more complicated, and that's a prejudice I haven't done fully asynchronous.
Why don't we hit another poll question, then we can have some more discussion.
Okay, going to the next. Oh, this is a good one. I mean, I'm very curious about this, about doing more group activity as well, right?
Well, I don't know how, oh, I saw Reagan smile, which is good. I don't know if you would do group activities asynchronously then, is that? Ah, interesting. Oh, there's so much I want to hear about.
Yes, in those best practices papers, they do talk about even being asynchronous, that you can do these things, how to do it and all. It's really thinking outside the box, and
Yeah.
I'm inside the box.
And I think, was there one more?
There is.
Okay.
Okay, so would you do activities if they were possible group? By far, everybody understood that that's a good thing. And here comes, oh boy, there's two more.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, yeah, there were the assessment questions.
Okay, what assessment tool are you currently using? And this says Pearson Expert TA, but any publisher too, right? Could be, I guess, there. Your school learning management system, I added that later to you.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was a good idea.
It's amazing how many people use the Mastering Physics or something from Pearson. Oh, here's some Expert TA coming out, and other. Oh, Microsoft Teams, right? So ending poll, share results. There you go. I think most of us are sticking to our school's free learning management systems, or those that don't belong to our school. I remember there were some of us that were not using. The school didn't provide some. And GradeScope perhaps would be in a different category than sort of an assessment tool, just another tool to ease grading. Okay. A lot of people are saying good things about MS Teams. Okay. And finally,
Yeah, I don't know what MS Teams is. We'll have to talk about that.
Microsoft Teams.
Huh. Okay.
Works like this, has different restrictions, different but it works like Zoom. And you can share file. There's more features, right?
Oh, okay.
Publish assignments and files. So what assessment tool will you try next semester? And here you go. Other is the favorite. And I think this other has to do with maybe Microsoft Teams and what else? Let's see people talk more about this. What are the assessment tools that they have in mind? Okay, I'm ending this poll, sharing the result, and this was the last one, Theo.
Great. Yeah, I see some people asking about the Reagan and Chris style exams. I think that was that week 3 or something, or 4. You can look at the video.
April 17, I think it was.
Excellent. Yeah. April 17th.
So I can quickly, for instance, just very quickly share my screen and go to, yeah, I think I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. I share my screen and do this and don't do that. Yes. Oh boy, where am I? I hid everything now.
It's okay.
There you go. So if you go to the our website, which is an AAPT website, right? So if you are on the AAPT website, you go to committees and you select to your college committees, and you end up on this website. That's the website of our college. So you can start by looking at the AAPT website. So then you click on resources shared during Zoom meetings. And here you find a very short summary and the recordings of the meetings we had since the beginning of this. So here we start March 20th, etc., 27. And that one where Chris and Reagan talked about there, it was April 17. And the title was Thinking Outside the Box, Alternative Ways to Evaluate Student Learning. So they had different ideas for assessment. That's it. I'll stop sharing.
All right, so there are I think we have a lot of good ideas out there. We could start the discussion. I'll just say that my school is sort of pushing us into one camp or the other. But if I choose the synchronous camp, then I have flexibility to do some asynchronous stuff. So I guess my decision has been to go with the synchronous route. And then I definitely have some time set aside where they were expected to show up for class, and then I could do some group work with them at that point. But I think I would move some of my lecture stuff to be asynchronous so they could view that on their own. But I'm open to hearing what everyone has to say and how they're going to adjust for this situation.
I'm going to have mostly asynchronous with taped lectures and solved examples that I will post on YouTube, with once a week a Zoom meeting with the students to answer any questions about any of the posted videos.
Michael, I have a question. When you're posting this recitation and solving problems in YouTube, I saw your many videos of problems, especially, and you have subtitles. Are you inserting these subtitles your own, or you're allowing just, I don't know if it's my accent or whatever, but they are bad when it involves math.
No, with me, YouTube does that automatically. What I do is I go in and double check that there are no major mistakes,
Okay.
and you can edit them. We make mistakes in classes. I don't want them to be 100% perfect, because I don't think I'm that way in the classroom. So I want them to get the fact that I do make mistakes when I'm videotaping them, and there's a lot of erasing that takes place, and a lot of, oh, I didn't mean to say that. Here's what I meant to say. And I know for a fact none of my students need the transcript. So that's another fact that helps.
So do you need a lot of time? Do you actually spend a lot of time correcting this? For instance, if I'm going to say alpha is equal to, it comes out like alfalfa is equal to, you know.
Yes, the trick there is to speak those terms slowly when you get to them, and it sounds weird, but the transcription on YouTube works it out. Yeah, I think they've tweaked it enough to know that when you're talking about a scientific problem, that alpha means something other than alfalfa. But yes, I had to go in the first few videos and do many edits.
If I could ask you real quick, Michael, I was actually trying to find your videos on YouTube because I was trying to get a feel for what the good practices are with that, and I couldn't find them.
I have them unlisted, Theo, but I will see if I can share them with the community. I don't want them to be popping up without me wanting the students to see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if I made videos, I could put them on YouTube, and only my students could see them then.
Yes, because what I do is after I make the video, I embed them into our course management system. So I just use YouTube as my library. That way I don't have to worry about saving them on my computer or anything like that.
So they're saved in YouTube on their server, but there's a link that goes from your learning management system into YouTube, so only the students can get it.
May I share my screen and show you?
Yeah. I don't want people seeing me on YouTube besides my students.
Right. That's the main reason why I did that. I apologize for my picture. So if you go into YouTube, there's something called YouTube Studio. And then under the YouTube video, there's all of my videos since March. And the only thing is under visibility, you have to just click listed. Private means only you can see them. Unlisted means people that you give link to can see. Public means anybody can see them. But I'll try and see if there's a way for me to share this, and maybe I'll send the link to Glenda and she can send it out, or I'll post it on the email system for the 2-year college listserv. Maybe that will work. The only caveat is if you find a mistake, please let me know so that I can fix it, so that my mistakes are not propagated through through the internet.
Michael.
Yes.
Can you say what's the main reason for you to go to YouTube versus uploading directly on Canvas? I think you mentioned.
We have a limited size on our Canvas account, and I didn't want to continue to ask people for permission to give me an extra space.
So it must mean we don't have. Yeah. Then I guess we don't have a limit because so far I haven't reached any limit. Nobody told me anything. So I have lots of videos and they've never.
Plus this way I have complete ownership of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I did that. I started with YouTube a long time ago, and then I switched back to Canvas. Maybe I'll have to think about that again.
Give them another try. I was in the same boat that I was a little weary about them, but they've done some changes that I think you might.
Well, the transcript thing is an interesting thing, because we had just prior to this COVID-19, we were up in arms in the discussion about accessibility, and one of the issues was putting transcripts into videos, and if it can be done automatically, that's really a great plus, and so it'd be an interesting option.
And the main thing, the feedback from my students has been very positive about those.
Mike, how much time do you spend preparing them, like on the average time? If you could give me some.
So most chapters I try to cover anywhere between 7 and 10 examples. The theory I just post YouTube videos like already made. So I haven't done those yet. That's the summer project. I would say for those 7 to 10 examples, between 2.5 to 3 hours. It depends on how well I prepare before I start filming, and distractions that might happen while I'm filming, mainly from my 2 dogs.
Thank you.
Yeah, this semester, my students just gave me the basic feedback. One feedback I heard is that many of somehow they had trouble. I didn't rewatch most of my recordings. I would play just the beginning to check a few of them, it's fine. But they said that through the recordings, then the voice, it was hard to distinguish and all. And I think this has to do also with internet connection, something that was happening. And it was through Blackboard Collaborate. So Blackboard Collaborate, the voice sometimes cut off and etc. And I was not doing subtitles and all. It was fine. They only gave me that feedback towards the end. They could understand still, it was okay. But yeah, internet connection sometimes, and maybe it's an issue with Blackboard Collaborate and through my college, and I don't know, it wasn't a good quality. So I'm willing to try something else now.
Michael, you said that you use for your theory lectures, you find videos on YouTube that you post for your students to watch, and then you do the problems, you do example problems that you create your own videos for.
I actually asked them to find some videos, and then I tell them that I have the final right to place them up there or not.
Oh, you mean so the theory stuff, they actually search YouTube for theory videos?
Yeah.
So if you're doing resonance in a tube, you say, go find resonance in a tube video.
Yep.
Huh, that's a nice idea.
And sometimes I make it an assignment if it's something like, obviously I've scoured the internet trying to find them, right? But if I can't find something, I make it somewhat like an assignment for incomplete. Find a video that describes this concept. If it's used in class, you will get extra credit, or you will use something like that. So I make them take a little ownership in that sense.
You don't have a whole set of videos prepared for each week ready to go that you found. You just have them find them all? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. And I hope I don't offend anybody. I have the Walter Lowen, and there's a guy from Yale that has the introductory physics sequence already taped.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you is where should I look for good videos on YouTube for lectures?
I can send you an email.
Oh, great.
And if I find them, I'll put the link on the chat. How about that?
Thank you. So they populate all the theory videos each week for you.
Yep.
Oh. So they assign you to reading first and then find the videos related to reading?
Yep.
Oh, I like that idea.
It actually came from them, because before I started using the videos, I used the Canvas as a enhancement to my face-to-face classes, and students would send me this link saying, have you seen this video on this concept? So when we went online, I just tried to continue that approach.
So are you getting a lot of Khan Academy videos?
Yes. and that's why I had to put the caveat that I have the final say on what goes on. And there's some good stuff out there, and there's some really terrible stuff out there.
So they email the video link to you, and then you have to approve it to post it on Canvas.
If it shows up, then it's approved. If it's not approved, there's no penalty. They know that, I usually send them, I'll tell them something why I didn't use their video, just so that they don't get discouraged for the next time. It's sometimes our egos might get hurt if
so they email the link to you, or they post it themselves and you take it down?
No, they email it to me.
Okay.
Where we limit the amount of control we give our students on campus. And that's not up to me, that's up to our Canvas administrator on campus.
Can I change the topic a little bit? Not even too much, actually. I was just thinking in YouTube videos, for those of you that have done synchronous, I guess if you post them with students in the audience, there's an aspect of, there's an issue. I guess students have to sign the form or something like that. Are you guys aware of that?
I can't hear anybody.
We're just patiently waiting for someone else to take the lead.
Oh, okay. Anyone want to comment on Tony?
Well, I think I understand the concern, and I think it's true. I mean, I'm sure if somebody wants to look into the detail, that would be an issue. But I guess for the moment, nobody's looking too closely at this kind of thing, and so we can get away with it, I'm guessing. But once things get a bit more normalized, I'm pretty sure the issue will be raised, and we'll have to think about it. Because yeah,
I would contribute, but I was doing 3 things at once, and I missed what his issue was. I'm sorry, Tony.
It was a minor issue.
So anyone else have any ideas? I guess I'm curious about, I don't want to put Reagan on the spot. And also because my school is a little different than other schools. Most of our students are local, so they're not traveling from very far. Also there's a copyright. There aren't any copyright problems from YouTube as far as I know. As long as everything is on YouTube, I think it's all open source. You can use it. So my school, most of our students are local, and so we don't have the issue with them traveling from different parts of the country or that kind of thing and being in different time zones. So I guess it's a little easier for me to say everyone show up at 11 o'clock to class. And I guess I kind of like having, at least with my experience with my students this past semester, they really liked having that set time to show up 2 days a week. They wanted that sense of normalcy. And they liked having that interaction with me, even though I couldn't always see them or hear them because they turn off their microphones. I look that good. That's all I can say. No, I'm just kidding. But they like that interaction. They like to be able to ask me questions directly and get answers in real time as opposed to being on their own. And I guess I was curious about what Reagan's doing asynchronously because she sent me some interesting comments from the AAPT coffee hour last week or this past week. And it seems like students really prefer the synchronous part to the asynchronous part. So, but I'm not sure if she wants to share yet anything.
I'll share it. Okay. So basically from my point of view, even though I'm just up the road from Theo, most of my students are out like words are failing me. Like adults with children, or they have full-time jobs at a hospital. I have a lot of the medical students because I teach the algebra-based and the gen ed physics. So my population's different than, say, the engineering physics that like Maggie, continuing committee, Geppert teaches. So I've been teaching online actually for 3 or 4 semesters now, the gen ed physics course. So I've come into this with a little bit of pre-knowledge in this, thank God. So the asynchronous is the way that our college is telling us to go for the fall because our students are so over the map. They need all times of the day to be able to take the classes. Now labs are actually going to be scheduled at certain times of the day. If we run labs in the fall, we're still waiting on our state's requirements board to tell us what we can and cannot get away with for fall physics labs. So we have labs currently scheduled just in case, but we would only have 10 students in lab at one time, and we would only have lab every other week. But anyway, that's different. So asynchronous, it's turned out the best. what the students were asking for was actually they loved asynchronous because they could pause the lectures. Everyone was just like, pausing lectures is my life now. Like it was crazy how much they love that. But the other thing that they really loved was the professors setting up groups and live opportunities for them to work with each other. They really want the professor to be like, hey, Mel, you're going to work with Joe and Dean and continuing committee on this project, and you four now, or however many people that was, meet and figure that out, and give them some details on how to do that. And so that's my spiel.
And I like that. I guess what really got me down, I think I mentioned this at a previous meeting, was me staring at the screen with no images of students so I could get any feedback and no microphones on. And I really think just giving them videos would be better for my sanity, as well as if they're for theirs, if they prefer that, to rerun the videos. And then I think my time is best spent. We have Big Blue Button at Oakton, and apparently you can put students into groups on this. So I would rather spend my time when I am in class putting them in groups and having them work on my activities I've already created for them. And if there's some way I can go from group to group and see what they're doing and then have them present results, I mean, that would make it fun for me to teach in this situation, because I was not having fun by the end of the semester. So if I'm talking too much, just please interrupt me at any time.
Can I say something about breakout groups?
Please.
Yeah, so I've been using Blackboard Collaborate since we switched over to this. So I've been doing synchronous lectures that I've been recording on Collaborate for the students who can't attend during those times. I learned today, for those of you who use Collaborate or want to use Collaborate, if you are recording a lecture and go into a breakout session, it will stop the recording. So that's one of my little tips that I just found for that. But my students seem to like it. My summer students, so I've already started summer term for the calc-based mechanics class, and I already have students who are like, I'm so sorry I can't make it to lecture, and I'm like, I understand you can't make it to lecture. That's why they're recorded. Yes, thank you for recording those lectures. I really, really, really appreciate it. So it's the Collaborate works really well in Blackboard if you have that. I like it. It's, you know, it's got, the only thing I wish it could do is I wish it could do captioning, but I heard that the captioning package for Collaborate is ridiculously expensive.
When you use Collaborate, do you insert the slides in Collaborate and then just co-presenting them inside Collaborate one by one? Because I do a screen sharing and then get out and use PowerPoint, and PowerPoint then also has subtitles, which also translate alfalfa and all these things, but it does have subtitles. So then PowerPoint is showing that. Then done.
Oh, I didn't know PowerPoint had subtitles. That's interesting. Like it'll do captioning while you're doing a presentation?
Alfalfa! Yay!
All right, so now I like that. I learned a thing. So what I've been doing for my Collaborate sessions is I have been inserting the slides and sharing the slides, and then I've been flipping between that and the whiteboard to do examples, and then sharing my screen. So I shared Logger Pro yesterday because I was using the force probes to show Newton's third law in class yesterday. So and I was only disappointed. I did go back and look at the Collaborate video because I was curious how it doesn't. So I had my kids as the two kids who were doing the two people who were doing the tug of war with the force probes for the Newton's third law demo. And when I screen shared for the to show Logger Pro, it didn't show. It also, I thought it showed also like a little thing of the video, you know, of my screen video, but it doesn't. It just shows whatever you're sharing on the screen. So I was hoping that it could show my kids tugging on the tug of war and Logger Pro at the same time, but it won't do that.
Well, I see a lot of people talking about Camtasia and all because maybe you're recording like big things, but again, the Screencast-O-Matic for short things looks amazing, and that's the one that we all going to be using for talks and even little posters for the APT virtual meeting. Yeah.
Oh, Camtasia is going to be used for the virtual meeting?
No, this information will come later on, but it will be Screencast-O-Matic, and
okay, Screencast-O-Matic, yeah.
with all its bells and whistles though, but yeah, that's the one they're using. So
well, the benefit of Camtasia has tools that are really useful to put a more, you know, polished production together. That's, I mean, that's where you get real. I think to me, it's better than most other options in that sense. For if you just do basic screencasting, yes, a lot of tools are pretty equivalent. But when it comes to adding effects or combining different videos and polishing the sound, for instance, editing the sound level, reducing noise and stuff like that, I find it very useful.
I believe Camtasia owns Screencast-O-Matic as well.
Does it? So I guess they're building a monopoly somehow.
So I have a cute, like, 1-minute thing to share. Is
Please.
that okay? Okay. So I was, one way I encourage my students to do stuff. So even though it's not worth points, because they always want to be like, how many points is this? And I'll be like, nothing. And they'll be like, well, is I give them stickers. It works. Even for my 50-year-olds, they love the stickers. So I can't give people stickers via the internet. So yesterday I sent I put my syllabus all in HTML so it would be ADS accessible. And I showed my friend Melissa, who's our tech, what will you call her, continuing committee, the tech?
Oh, she's a tech goddess.
Goddess, thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
the tech goddess.
Yeah. Melissa, she's just amazing.
So I had to show it to her, and she sends me a Screencast-O-Matic because that's how we talk to each other. We make 1.5-minute little quick videos. It's really great for student questions. If you don't know how to answer it via text, you can just send a video. And she does this video with me, and she's like, I made you a medal. Here you go. And then she puts it on me like this. She's like, now you are the #1 syllabus. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have medals for my whole family except me runs. They have trophies, medals all over the place. Like I could make, you have earned this trophy. Little sticker videos I could send people 20 seconds. And oh my gosh, you won't believe how thrilled I was to get that medal. I felt like it was on me. So I just wanted to share that. Just some like little hilarious, cute thing you can do to encourage students where you don't have to grade anything, because that's really a goal for me. So thanks.
I like that. That's a wonderful idea. I'm writing that down now.
One of the things that I've been using before this whole COVID-19 is the physics classroom site, and they have some of their physics interactives, and I forgot there's another thing they're called, but when you complete a full level, you get little trophies. And so my typical exercise is that first of all, you have to type in your name. I have them work in groups. So they type the 3 names, they go in, they finish the activity, they get all the trophies, and I ask them to upload a screenshot on our LMS on Canvas. So when I see the screenshot and the names, I know they've done the whole thing. So I can give them full credit right away. I don't have to grade anything. And there's a lot, especially for Physics 1, more so than Physics 2. But for Physics 1, I found it very, very useful. There are lots and lots of different activities.
Yeah, Karim, I have used it too for not like yours, but for lab activities. Some of them are very nice and interactive ones.
Yeah.
I've used them for demo. I use, for example, circular motion, where I give students, they have a challenge where you have to do a race car moving around by applying forces. and they loved it. Every one of them managed. I asked them for a screenshot of their final result when that says you made it, and everyone did it. And so it's really a nice interactive website.
Actually, when I read the title of today's meeting, what I was thinking about is one of my big concern in going online is to try to reproduce some of those things that I do on a regular basis in the classroom, where they break down into some small activities instead of me talking. And how to do this online is what I've been trying to think about, either individually, if they're on their own, having some kind of interactive exercise that they can complete so they can get graded, or maybe even better as a group, and still have that feeling of working on something specific rather than just watching a video. Or even if you can stop it and you can rewind it, it's still a very passive exercise versus having to do something to really go through the material. And
there is a software package called, I believe, Arc Media, that allows you to input interruptions within a video, whether you've created it or you've downloaded it, and ask questions during that interruption. And you can upload the question within the video, and it will just break. It will create a blank screen with the questions on, and you can ask your students to do that. We just found out that our school is going to invest in a license for that, so I don't have much more to report on it. But I've seen it work, and when it works very well. That's one way you can make sure that they are watching the videos, by placing some keywords throughout the video to make sure, okay, yeah, they've watched it, because they don't know where those keywords will be.
Isn't it like that Play Pause It that Dean's collaborator for the book was using the videos?
Yes.
I believe it's very, very much similar to that, yes.
I've seen that in UNL, NAAP astronomy demonstration videos, there are those in every video that you have a multiple choice question and ask the instructor to stop the video, and then students have to answer a question before proceeding.
When we received our Canvas training on campus, the trainer demonstrated that Arc Media in one of his PowerPoints, because you can do it on a PowerPoint, you can do it in a video, you can do it with anything, and that's I think the main difference between it and Pause It, if I'm not mistaken.
How is that spelled? Just the word Arc Media?
ARC Media, I believe.
Okay, I see. All right. Look into
and
it.
Also, in case you haven't seen, I've shared a couple of links for some of the videos that are that I receive on a regular basis. One from MIT and one from Yale on YouTube, and I've given you the link to the main page. You can choose which ones you want to use if you'd like.
If we could, let's pause for a second. Tony was going to tell us about Slack a little bit. So if we just toss it over to Tony. Do you need to share your screen, Tony?
Yeah, I think I can. I just see that green button, so I feel like that should work out.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you guys for allowing me to share that. Well, I think I need that hosting privilege. I tried and it didn't work out.
Let's see.
You've been just given. Try.
Okay, let me try it again. Okay, cool. I think it works out. There's usually a time delay and then you get it. So there's my screen and this is our Slack channel. And Glenda just sent a text in the general channel asking about, giving us a link of where to go so that we can go to the meeting. And I got in there and I was like, no one's in. But anyway, so this is our Slack channel. And let me just say why I use Slack. If you look right around this area, do you see this P, PET, PCAP, TYC, and all that stuff? those are the Slack channels that I'm involved in. So this one way up here is the latest one that I'm hoping to start, which is a Slack channel for my students. So when I started using Slack, it was when I went to Pickup workshop. That must have been in July of 2016. And Pickup is Partnership for Integrating Computation into Undergraduate Physics. And so we're using Slack during that summer workshop. And I didn't really care as much, but I used a little bit. And then, but before I came to that workshop, I had read about a chemistry professor who was using Slack to communicate with the research students, and they had a channel. And so researchers were the ones that were using Slack a lot. And so I was like, oh, that's intriguing. And then I go to this workshop and people are using Slack. And then after the workshop, the Slack pickup became really active. And so one of the reasons I like Slack is because of the communication channels that are there. You have a whole bunch of things that you can do. Like, so I was teaching physics, and I would have a general channel where I would post up everything and whatever courses are, course notes I did. In fact, I'll show you the older version. This is the one I used when I was teaching at BSc. And so you can see this is May 5th, 2019. And this is probably an exam that I had posted with solutions for them to study and things like that. So celebrations, as you know, Dwayne calls them exam celebrations. There you go. There's a channel for final semesters. There's a channel for snake handling, which is coding with Python. There's a channel for WebAssign homework. And so there are a bunch of channels. And obviously the best one is a random, because you have random stuff popping up. I don't know how this came up, but that's a Chegg thing. But if you go up on random, you might see different things. And this baseball graph math was something that one of my students put in as a channel. It was like one of the strangest channels, but I said, okay, choose whatever channel you want to put in. But one of the interesting thing is when I started using Slack, my students weren't really as active. And then the next year you had very active students who actually created channels. There was a Calc 3 channel that was created in a Physics 1 class. And so they would talk about their homework on that channel and do a whole bunch of stuff. So the good thing with it is just that even the side chatting is actually more interesting. Like if you go back here and you hit that, you'll see me chatting with myself, but here is chatting with different people. This is one of my students and maybe sending some lab stuff. This is one of my colleagues that I shared the channel so that he would actually know what was going on in the class, and all the notes were in there. So obviously there are challenges with using Slack. I think students really don't like the idea that if you're using Slack and Canvas, then that would be like, oh, we got 2 places to go. But if you guys know Canvas and LMSs, sometimes it's harder for interaction to go on a discussion board or things like that. I'm saying it's harder, but I've really not tried it. It's just, it's always looked really clunky. So I'm gonna stop there, but the reason why we thought of speaking about Slack was because we have a TYC Slack channel, and we've been having some good discussions there. We don't really want to stop the listserv. We should never do that. But having those two kind of complement each other pretty well, because in Slack you have those interactions amongst each other that are not there in that big listserv. And some people are shyer, so they don't really send stuff in the big listserv. The other thing that would be a good thing is you send an email in the listserv and you come back with 3 emails saying this guy is off on summer or something. You know, things like that wouldn't happen in Slack. So I'll stop there. Do you guys have any questions? Thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing.
I see some people mention Discord. I did one of my classes, they actually started a Discord server and invited me to join. And I could never get on. I joined Discord and I couldn't get into the group somehow. So maybe and I was just too busy to try and figure it out. But my students really enjoyed some of them liked the Discords. Most of them I think didn't participate. But I think it's good to to sort of key into what they're interested in, you know, whether it's Slack or Discord. I mean, it probably doesn't matter which it is. What matters is if they're engaging in it and they want to be engaging in it, and then they're going to use it, and then it's useful for them.
I have a comment on that. So, because I was going pretty fast here, obviously we always want students to have urgency. And so when you choose Slack, like, remember the article I told you that I was reading about the chemistry professor in 2016 who was using Slack with his graduate students? I actually met the graduate student who was a professor. And this professor told me, you know, I didn't really like that. And I was like, okay, some of my students don't like it. And I feel bad having them do that. But then I moved last year to GroupMe, and the experience was worse than Slack, because GroupMe has just one channel that everything goes through. And so you don't have these side conversations. When my students were doing a group project and there were 3 of them, I couldn't send them 3 a text or something like that. And the channeling itself isn't there, so that if you're not interested in that topic, you're like, I don't care about WebAssign homework, I'm gonna do this. I don't care about what you're talking on general, I'm gonna do that stuff. So there are those things that you have to weigh when you're thinking about something to use. But for us, it will be a positive for sure. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
So for Slack, do the students have to create an account to use Slack, or can they join as like a guest on a temporary basis?
No, so you actually set it up yourself by putting the emails that the students want. Sometimes I actually have done it in class where I would tell the students, hey, go ahead, type your emails and whatever email you want to use, and that's going to be your Slack email to log in. But once you log in, there's usually a magic link or something so that you don't really worry about that. I use it on my phone and on my computer. But I've discovered that actually using it on the computer makes more sense, because that's when you're at work and doing stuff. But I still have it on the phone when occasionally I want to check in. And I learned that from a buddy of mine, a physics buddy of mine, who just kind of uses Slack on the computer. It makes it easier so that you're not slacking all the time. But, you know, we're slackers.
Thank you.
So I have a question, Tony. What's the major advantage over Canvas? And do you get any kind of feedback from administration or students?
About Slack?
Yeah, I mean, what drove you, you know, what drives you to do that instead of the LMS like Blackboard, Canvas that is being used? What advantage do you get that you think it is worth it?
Yeah, I've actually had pushback on using Slack. But when I was at BSc, because I was there for so long, sometimes when you're a faculty for a while, there's that sense of this guy knows what he's doing. And so you don't get bugged as much. But to be honest, it was mostly because of interaction. I really didn't try Blackboard, but I was told it's clunky. And you read stuff online everywhere. It was always like, oh, discussion board is clunky. So I was like, well, I've tried something with Pickup and it doesn't seem as clunky. So why go to a clunky thing when I can use something that's really nice? And by the way, Slack is spreading around in different colleges, and some colleges are deciding to use Slack, and then they kind of have a collaboration where the Slack colleges are connected also. And there are some colleges that really are thinking about Slacking their students in admin and all that, and connecting it all as a campus thing. So it has some possibilities that Canvas might not. And if you go to the techie guys, you'll find that a lot of them use Slack. And that was the reason. I mean, it just worked so easily. I couldn't really struggle with stuff. It was very seamless to use. And my students picked up on it really fast.
So in Blackboard, to enter in a discussion group in Blackboard, there are many clicks until you're finally inside the discussion group. In Slack, you can have a version in your desktop, you can have a version in your cell phone. So, having said that, Discord and I don't know, instant messaging, kids create their own groups. They can also do the messaging on the phone very quickly. If we want to just promote discussion, communication, that they help each other or something without even grading that, then here you go, it's like fantastic. And so my husband teaches at a 4-year institution, and they use Slack a lot for research, but also he uses with the higher level course, the higher level lecture. And indeed, for introductory students, what I find is that you do need to explain to them a lot about the rules of what type of language, etc., because then they are very relaxed. But it eases the access to discussion rather than going to so many clicks to finally get to something like Blackboard. However, Blackboard or your learning management system, you would be protected in grading that later on, and etc.
A comment here, real quick. I saw in the chat, the one strength also of Slack is that if you don't make it too admin, like hierarchical, this guy is the admin and this guy is the owner. If you make it such that everyone can add everyone, it's a lot easier for students. So like if a student can add another student who's not on it, and even in our TYC, I've added a lot of people and I'm not the owner or the admin or anything. So you can add each other, and you can also create a channel that you think is helpful. And so that's the other interesting thing. You're giving them agency to do stuff rather than, oh, here's what I want you to do. Although technically you put them into Slack, so that was you got to do this, you know.
How do you add people, Tony?
What did you say? How do you add people?
Yeah, just click on their email or?
Yeah, so let me see. Can I share the screen? I hope I can do it.
You should still be able to share the screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where my Slack is. There it is. Do you see that? Oh.
No.
Oh, just a minute. I will. There you go.
Yep.
So I'm in there, and I think if you go way up here, let me go up. So it's way, okay, right up here, I think. That's where you can invite people.
Okay.
Way down here. So you can see my total messages are 7.9K because this is like 3 years worth of physics. I actually ran out of space, but so invite people right there. So if I do invite, then you're in there, and you can invite through Outlook and all that. So send invitations, pretty seamless.
Some things are easier to do access on the desktop version of Slack. And other things, they're just too hidden and hard to access in the cell phone version of Slack. And in Slack, you can incorporate a lot of apps as well. So we have a polling app, for instance, in our Slack, so you can launch polls. If you investigate, you'll find it. Otherwise, ask us.
I got another question about Slack.
Ooh.
I know Canvas has a way to integrate Slack. Does anyone here use that and know how exactly that works and what it looks like?
First time I hear that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I discovered Canvas has a way to integrate Slack. I'm sorry, I'll find out and let you know. But thank you. That was engaging conversation about Slack. I didn't expect you guys would be that engaged because slacking isn't easy.
Of course it is easy. And please take a look at the Just for Fun channel.
I have a feeling if we keep going on with this meeting, the puns are going to go.
I think my students call them dad jokes now. But,
yeah, well, I'm of that age group, so I cannot call them dad jokes.
Hey, Tony, did you ever to get a hold of Dwayne to see if he would want to do a presentation on group work online?
No, I haven't. I should keep up, I guess. I'll give him a call because I texted him. He didn't text me back.
Okay.
And it's on video now, Dwayne.
Thanks for trying.
So we have a scheduled meeting for June 5th, and can we reveal, Reagan, the title of it and the topic? Yeah?
We're,
Well,
oh, thank you, Theo.
I'm working on it.
I think Theo wrote a title for me.
Oh, here we go. You can change it if you want.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Excellent, thank you.
So I am going to be reaching out if anybody has a student they would think would be really good on the panel. That would be great. Just let me know. I'll put my email address in the chat.
Tell us the background of this idea.
Oh my gosh, the AAPT Tuesday coffee hour, which is awesome, just like this is. They had the students come in and talk about what their viewpoints were. But the students they had were all either at four-year colleges or in high school, headed out to places like Harvard. And so I am like, really, the things that they had to share were surprising to me. And I realized I have a lot to learn from students. And so I thought it would be great for us to have a group of students that are two-year college students. So that would be a different population than the students that were there, and see what they had to say about the spring.
And I'm just scrolling through comments that Reagan recorded from the meeting.
Yeah, they're good stuff. So on June 5th, please bring your friends.
Okay, so please send me, those of you who don't get the messages about the APT virtual coffees, please send me an email so that I have a list of your emails, and then I can send that to someone else and tell them, can you add this emails, etc. But I don't remember everyone from this conversation right now. So if you send me an email, say, hey, I'm someone who is still not getting that, and I will get in touch with someone to add you, okay? But send me an email first so that I have that record.
What's the reason for that? How come we're having this problem? Wow.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, in our listserv, there's been a lot of issues also because sometimes people, well, Tony can say change institutions, or there's a little change, or even their system doesn't work very well and their email rebounds for a bit and then it gets unsubscribed from our list. There's a limit on how many times the email can bounce back, and then it automatically unsubscribes you.
Yeah, I know that, but I haven't changed an institution in 27 years.
You're not getting?
And I'm not getting the Tuesday thing. I get the regular AAPT meeting from the executive office, all that stuff, the announcement, the e-announcer, but the Tuesday meeting for some reason, I mean,
wow.
Unless it comes from you. When it comes from you, I get it. But if it does come from AAPT for some reason,
okay, but we have to go down deeper in this and see. Yeah, but send me an email so that I can have a whole list. Okay. And then get to them and they will investigate. Okay.
We need more of us in those Tuesday meetings for sure. So
yeah.
I even asked our IT to check if there was any problem on our side, and they assure me that they're not blocking that email and it should be coming through.
When I receive it says Beth at AAPT from Beth Cunningham.
Yeah.
That's how it comes from. Well, executive officer of AAPT. That's how it comes. Yeah. Okay, so June 5th, we have planned. We don't know on June 5th. We'll think about what's going to happen on June 12th. What about that? Does that sound nice? We go a little bit more uncharted territory, and it would be very good to have that group session and have Dwayne would be very nice to be a speaker and tell us what's been going on, right? So if you can get him, and that's what I would say. Eventually we're going to have a meeting about the APT virtual meeting, because maybe a lot of people have questions, and I know a few things that they're organizing and all, and the company they hired, etc. But everybody's required is being asked to submit abstracts. You have that deadline has been extended for a few more weeks, right? And you'll see soon that everybody will receive emails that everybody will need to pre-record their sessions. And you're going to have a three-week window to do that. And this is coming next week already. And that's for talks, and that's for posters as well. So if you don't want, you don't need to do anything, but there's a 5-minute little thing about posters. But but the meeting promises to be very interesting. This third party has a feature that allows for gamification of the meeting. And that's all I'm going to say now, but basically you are like a little square, and you walk around the map of the meeting as if it was like a big room, and the poster session and the big auditorium, and you walk with your little square. As you get close to any other little square, you can hear, you can see, you can do everything. So you can talk to people. So you can imagine how poster sessions really become closer to the experience we have live. It's really very cool. So hopefully they'll have a little teaser video to explain that, because that's one of the biggest different things that this third party can do. And that will really then perhaps promote and open the horizons for most of us to understand that this can happen well. This can be done well. You know, we can still have interactions.
Would there still be a registration fee?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, there will be a registration fee for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
$200 some $50 or something, or $400, whatever.
No, that's a lot less than 200. A lot. I'm hearing 150 or less. Okay.
So if your 10-minute talk recording goes over to 15 minutes, so they just cut off the last 5 minutes?
So all this is being, so this third party will then provide you access and technical support to record things in a limited amount of time. So I guess you will be given already a certain, and you can test and try again and again, but you'll be given a limited amount of time.
Oh, I see. Oh, good.
It'll be fast forward talking.
It will be a learning curve for everyone in 3 weeks. Yeah. For all of us who are going to be presenters. But I find that it's great to know that this interaction will be possible, this more lively and more free interaction will be possible, where the interaction doesn't happen just in Q&As and just in very structured monologues that are the talks, but you also can have this unstructured dialogue all of a sudden passing by, like, oh, what is this, etc.
So do they need presiders if all the talks are recorded?
Yeah, presiding should be very interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. A lot of us are thinking then a lot of presiders and a lot of people need to be sort of pre-trained.
It seems like they could just show the videos at a certain time in a certain room, or room, whatever that you go to. I'm not sure why they would need a presider, but okay.
For Q&A.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
if there are many talks in one session, there needs to be some coordination sometimes. Plenaries we need. There are some situations with big crowds, and if everything is together, that some presiding will be needed, but not everywhere. I guess we are all learning, trying to understand how the structure really is going to be. But I thought it was really, when I saw this gamification aspect, I thought that made a lot closer to the experience you would have live. We need to check in. Okay. And during their virtual coffee, they are going to have in the future also explanations about this. But this is coming. Say there's time. There's time. But yeah, that's what I can tell you right now. So thank you very much. Thank you so much to Theo for organizing this and taking the lead on this. Tony for the explanation. Everybody, Michael Boutros, everyone's collaboration in the chat. My God, there's so much.
I don't know. I don't know if I got Reagan. What you want to? Did you want to practice the share-a-thon on Zoom first? Is that what you meant, or?
No. I was just saying we need to look into it. So just that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, eventually I will be reaching out to those of you who have sessions and talks and things this coming meeting also, just to see. But APT will be coordinating everything with you too, but let's see. Thanks everybody.
Thanks everyone for coming. Glenda, thank you for putting together those polls for me. I appreciate it.
Steve, you're very welcome. Take care everyone. And
Thank you. Thank you.
June 5th. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.